Hey guys, Antonio Rodriguez here, and I haven't made a video for a long time. I apologize for that. I got too busy with my personal life, playing Mass Effect Andromeda. Hopefully I can finish that soon, but not likely because I got a bunch of side quests I like to do. I just like doing side quests. Yeah, I got school, got studied free in hospitality, which I doing just to make sure my dash shots up and all that, just to explain why I haven't made any videos for the last couple months. And this is the first review I did for 2017 since Split, so it is worth it because it's my first. And you know what? I'm gonna skip that. I'm just gonna go straight to the review of Ghost in the Shell 2017. Ghost in the Shell 2017 is plagued by whitewashing controversy, which I'm not a part of because I have no problem. But there is one moment in the end I was paying attention in which irony is not. It will ruin the movie if I explain it. It's better to see what you see so you know what I mean, because it's weird. Because it's just a type of irony. And do I really have a problem with whitewashing during the course of the film? No, not with the main lead, because ScarJo is just fine in the film. Like every film I've seen her in, like Prestige, Hell, Caesar, outside the Avengers films, I actually find her pretty terrible.
Bullshit.
I haven't seen Lucy, you know, and other good movies, good movie performances, but I just find her terrible, and I kind of don't get it so far. I'm just going, all right, how's she a good actress? All I've seen of her is Black Widow, and that's the only good performance I could find. And she's a very good side character, might I say. Because she seemed to be good at being a good side character as towards the lead. But I don't mind seeing a Black Widow film when they eventually announce it, like in 10 years. But how is the actual film? And before I continue, I haven't watched the anime. I regret not watching the anime first because, as during the course of the review, I wish I had. That's because certain points I don't understand. It's just how the film did not tell me how the anime did it. Now let's head to the film. What is its pros and cons? Before I go to the pros and cons, you should really look at who's directing and writing this film. The writer of the film, one of the co-writers, wrote the Transformers films.
Of course.
I do like them, but I'd always seen the holes in that guy's script or screenplay. It's full of holes, and it feels like he likes to drag a lot of scenes, like, and all that. So that is the number one thing for you to worry about, is his script writing and all that. Two, this film's directed by a hack, whose only notable directing credits is Snow White and the Huntsman.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
That's also another word for you. Did it bother me? Only the writer. But how is the actual film when watching it? I'll just start with the pros, because I'm probably going to be in furious rage if I go ahead and start with the negatives, because I had to calm down and go to the pros. First pro of this film is the visuals. It's gorgeous. It soaks with atmosphere. You just really small, nice little details. You always have great visuals, the great lighting. Some of them remind me of I haven't watched Blade Runner for a long time, but it does look a bit like Blade Runner, but it reminded me hugely of Deus Ex on how the setting looks. And I won't be surprised if the setting is inspired by from Ghost of the Shell in terms of creating Deus Ex. And I'm a big fan of Deus Ex. If ever a film be done with it, I think it would be compared to Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner. The visuals are gorgeous, and if you talk to me back 5 years ago and to say, how's the visuals for, like for example, Transformers, Dark of the Moon? 5 out of 5, I would say, because the visuals usually take me away and distract me from what the film actually is. The soundtrack is just fine. I always prefer other cyberpunk soundtracks that actually feel like a good movie in them. Like in terms of video games, I always loved listening to Human Revolution's soundtrack for Deus Ex. It's awesome. It's great to listen, and it's always soaks with atmosphere to that track. Tron Legacy, the prime example. That really sold the video game cyberpunk setting. I'm not sure about Blade Runner yet because I haven't seen it for years. But I did watch it. I rather watch the final cut. But I don't mind cyberpunk tracks, and this is just one of those cyberpunk soundtracks I already heard 5,000 times already. Nothing really different from the Deus Ex to Tron Legacies and all that. Alright, what else? The fight choreograph and the action sequences. Most of them are terrible, but most of them are excellent. They're well shot, well choreographed, and they're well timed. But I might review the anime eventually when I finally got this movie out of my head, so I can just watch that one in clear mind. It's just a great, well shot, and it's really smooth as that and everything. And before I go to cons, I forgot to put this in my review, which is down below. I forgot to mention the performances, including ScarJo herself. Do I think ScarJo is good in this? I probably mentioned this earlier, but I thought she was okay. Nothing amazing. She was like the only alright thing in the film. I can pass. I'll pass with ScarJo. And the other performances are meh. Including this surprise villain in the film. Sorry, as soon as I go to negatives, it will be spoiled, so I'll put spoiler banner in case I go full on rage and decide to go effing with spoilers. I try to go spoiler free as possible since I'm a couple weeks late. The performances are just meh, because most of them just try too hard and they're robotic and they just try too hard. Like I said, ScarJo's the only thing passable about this film. Even though her performance is just meh as well. Sorry, ScarJo fans, don't be offended by me saying that. I'm sure she's great in other films, but I only find her great in the Avengers films. Closest thing for me to stop saying that is The Prestige, and I didn't like her in it too. So let's get to what I don't like about this film, since I put the performances in the average range. Since I just go, so most of them, and some of them are passable. Alright. Prepare for full-on rage. Just in case. It's really hard to talk about this film without comparing the anime. Since I haven't watched it, you don't have to worry about it. This film is very cookie-cutter story structure. It's so bad in how they put in the very structure. Like, I was watching it, and then suddenly it ends. I'm just like, what? It ended already? It's already in the third act and I didn't even realize? It did not have a clear act structure. The structure of the three acts is nowhere. Only the first act feels like a first act, and then the second act feels like a second act, and the third act feels like the second act about to wrap up. I'm trying to hold my inner rage. It's just a few things are weird about it. I'm just gonna go straight ahead to the surprise villain. Carter is one of the worst villains, surprise villains for that matter, I ever seen on screen. I hated him because he's too obvious. Like from the first scene, you just see that guy is a bad guy because he's English. You can tell that English, the Englishman or the American is bad in these Japanese films. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna be a villain. And then later on, he's the villain. I was like, not surprised. And there were several times in this film, around 6 times, I fell asleep. I was like, I just worse for sleeping. I slept for 4 minutes. This film is boring as F. The second act is rubbish. I fell asleep. It's so dragging, and I could tell where the Transformers writer comes in. I bet he wrote that whole second act to feel like Transformers. Except this is not Transformers, it's Ghost in the Shell, and it somehow butchered it. And I hated that he made it way too obvious for me, instead of figuring out the film, because what I've been told is the anime does it visually, instead of telling you. I will reserve this judgment until I watch anime, and I'll try and remember to mention that. This film is absolutely garbage. It's one of the worst adaptations of anime I've ever seen, but the best by default. I give it that. Best by default, since most anime adaptations to live action are rubbish. I'd put this film in this trash can, or this bin, if it wasn't for the visuals and its fight choreograph and all that that I just mentioned before. So it saves itself to the garbage or epic fail. So, sorry guys, I'm not giving you my first 0.5. Because this is nowhere from the 0.5 or 1 or 1.5. I will get to my rating. It's just so many... I watched it trying to keep it an open mind. And there's several casting which feels weird. Because I'm going to go ahead and spoil the film, so I'll skip this section until to my ratings, or when I finally stop, I put it in the timestamp. The main castings, like the ScarJo's mother's Asian, which feels weird because ScarJo's American, and she clearly is American, and she's an Asian. I'm just like, I can accept that, unless they explained it, but luckily they explained it through the end, which finally is ScarJo as a kid was an Asian. Whoops! Should it be in English? Like I said, I'll try to just stay away from the whitewashing as possible. I just thought I would say that out loud because I thought that part was a bit weird. The ending feels rushed. It feels rushed when they got to the... And they just went first two acts and then put in the ending. Don't do that. That's a part structure. There's a 3-act structure, beginning, middle, end. You're supposed to go this and then down. This one went this and then down. It just started to end suddenly. Didn't resolve everything. It just resolves too many things fast. It just says, oh, hope you catch that one. Otherwise, you're gonna be left behind and you're gonna hate these balls unless you're gonna rewatch it and catch it. Oh my god. This is such a fail of an anime adaptation. I'll probably piss off a bunch of supporters for this film, which I don't understand how they like this. Because this feels like the next coming of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen that a bunch of supporters of Batman vs Superman, which I like by the way. I can see why I got indoctrinated to the phantom menacing of that film. And by the way, don't watch the Ultimate Cut unless you're ready to be pissed. Because that made me so pissed, that Ultimate Cut. I wish I did not see that. It just makes the film worse. As for Revenge of the Fallen, it's still my guilty pleasure, but I acknowledge it's a bad film. It's still a bad film, even though it has beautiful visual effects. The CGI is so awesome. I was almost blinded by this film to give it a 3 or 3.5, because I'm not that type of guy. If I feel uncomfortable or feel crap about one film that made me feel like it's a crap movie, it's a crap movie. I'm not going phantom menacing. Sorry, Chris, I had to use the words there. This is the next case of phantom menacing for those who support this film. They just got phantom menacing. Because this film is a very solid, the best I can give it, 2 out of 5. It's not a good film. And just watch the anime instead. Because this film is such a waste of your money, you're gonna either fall asleep or drive to insanity, or you just become a baby, a 1 to 5-year-old, and just enjoy the visuals. Because I grow past that stage. I'm no longer that kid that grew up with the visuals, loving the visuals, and then later hating it. If you want to see this film, I won't stop you. If you want to see this film with me,
spit him out and go, no, fuck you, I don't like.
If you want me to see the anime, I'm willing to watch the anime with you. But this film is such a fail. And it's far the best 2.5 I get, or 2, I should have said, film I ever seen. I seen Chips, I seen Kill for Wellness. Those 2 are worse than this film. Chips went for a more insane approach and trying to make it like 21 Jump Street, but more rude or more nudity than Jump Street, and trying to make it as edgy as possible. As for Kill for Wellness, was a Tim Burton style film directed by David Fincher. If you just want to watch the film, go ahead. I'm not stopping you, because that's not what my rating system implies. If it's 1.5, 1, and 0.5, or half a star, that means I will just go, no, don't see that film. just put it in the garbage or burn it. This is not one of those films I say burn it. It's close from being burn it. If this somehow does not get in the worst films of 2017 fit list, I'll be surprised. It'd probably be in the dishonorable mentions. I'm sorry guys for going a little bit of spoilers. If you decided to skip my rating system, I gave it a 2 out of 5. If you're offended by that rating, go to hell. Nah, just kidding. I love you guys. But seriously, don't get offended of ratings. This is a film. It's about subjectiveness. It's about how you interpret it. I interpret it, Ghost in the Shell, as a bad movie. I've seen better films with female leads. Like Star Wars, that's a good female lead. Ex Machina, great female lead. I consider that one a masterpiece of a science fiction grounded in reality film. I consider that one as the second best film of 2015. And still is standing strong. And even though I see more, eventually see more 5 calibers, I'm probably still gonna think, oh, it's not as good as Ex Machina. It's probably gonna be the seal as number 2 as with Star Wars as number 1. 2017 is shaping out to be a great year, I will just say. But it's not looking good for anime since Death Note is coming in. And Sandler Netflix film, it came out on your calendars, folks. I will be definitely reviewing it. I will definitely review Adam Sandler's upcoming Netflix film. Get excited for that since I love Adam Sandler, right? Bye-bye.